Hi, this is Gail at Ladyfingers Sewing. I've been working on this wonderful wall hanging called Cardinal Rule. The quilt is made with Woolies flannel, and it's mostly an applique project. The background is pieced, and then this is fusible raw edge applique. I'm using a 12 weight Aurifil cotton thread for the stitching, and I've done all of the applique for the piece thus far. I'm getting ready to do some triple straight stitching, which I'll show in a little bit. And right now I'm going to sew on the cardinal's eye with the button sew-on foot. And I know that that's an exciting foot that's featured right now at Bernina and of course Ladyfingers, and I've been using this foot for quite some time, so I want to show you how it works. So this is a smaller than normal button, and the good news is with the button sew-on stitch we can adjust the width of the stitch, which I'll show you in a moment. But first we have to show the settings on the machine to employ this stitch. So can you see the screen? Can you see the sewing machine screen? Okay, so what we're going to do is make sure we've selected the 9mm throat plate, and then we're going to select the right foot, because on the Bernina 790 we tell the machine what foot we're using, and that helps us keep from breaking needles. So I've selected the number 18 foot, which is the button sew-on foot. And then the other thing that we're going to do is make sure we tell the machine what needle we're using. So we go to the little needle icon, or you can access it through the throat plate icon, and tell the machine that we're using a regular needle. I'm using a sharp needle, which is a number 80. Okay, and I tell the machine that. I can indicate what needle I'm using, which is great because now I never have to remember what needle I have on the machine, because we often switch our needle sizes for different applications. So I'll close that, and now I'm going to go to the icon on the right hand side of my screen, which shows the buttonholes, because this is a button sew-on foot. That is stitch number 60 on the 790. I'm going to select that, and now my machine is set up to stitch this button with the button sew-on foot. The reason we use a special foot to sew on buttons is because there's a little tongue that sticks out here, and that is actually adjustable height-wise, so that if you need a shaft, if you need length on the button you're sewing, if you were actually doing a button with a buttonhole, you might need some extra thread there, so there's a place for the buttonhole to cover the button or go through the button. But in this case I need it nice and flat because I'm sewing this button tight to the cardinal's head. So now the tricky part is to get it lined up so that the holes of the button are lined up on either side of that little toe or tongue. And I can take my needle down just to make sure that it's going to line up properly, and it looks like it's just fine. And the machine, because this is the button sew-on stitch, will automatically know what to do. Isn't that cool? So that's our Bernina burp. Every time you turn on your machine, you're going to get that noise. And now here we go. And the machine, the machine will automatically stop, you see, when it's finished. Now, if I want to sew it double time, if I want this to be super secure, then I can do it again, which I often do with a decorative button. See how it automatically stopped? Now I can cut the thread. Now you want to watch it, because you want to pull the article towards you to let that toe slide off of the stitching. And then I can clip this thread. And what I usually do is just put a little drop of fray check on something like this. I have my fray check around. Well, here it is. Just to keep everybody happy and keep anything from happening there. A little touch will do it. And there you are. That's how we sew a button on using the button sew-on foot with the Bernina 790.